match, Dignitas versus Coast. But first, I'd like to welcome Coast's SaintVicious to the desk. First of all, congratulations on the win. Talk me through Lee Sin. We were talking about your early game and your late game. How did it go?
I think it was the worst Lee Sin game I've ever had in my life. I had like a somehow negative hit rate with my Q. I was like missing more than I was throwing. But I mean, we pulled it together and we ended up winning, so thank God. I think it's because CLG's team comp was a little rough.
Yeah, so what made you guys give up so many globals to CLG? You talked about before where like you knew they were going to split push and you wanted to go catch people out. What really went into your guys' team discussion at the beginning of the game after you saw they had Shen and Pantheon?
I mean, we knew they were going to do some like cheesy Pantheon Shen ults. Like we were so scared on bottom, or once we knew they hit 6, we were like, damn, we can't do anything. And I mean, there's a lot more kills I could have picked up early if I hit my Qs, and it could have taken some pressure off. But I think because they like to split push, that's kind of one of their weaknesses, and you just have to. The moment they you see them splitting because they get in that mindset, you just got to go on them instantly and just pick somebody off.
Why did it take so long for that to actually happen? Like it took 30 plus minutes before you guys could find a right rhythm. You know, top lane fight there was a good engagement, then finally mid lane. But why did it take so long to get to that stage?
Well, when you miss all your abilities, it kind of makes it hard to play.
So in terms of the composition, now, you said you were expecting the Pantheon. Is this something that you've played against them, that you knew they were going to do?
We didn't expect the Pantheon, but we saw the Shen, and we're just like, well, they're obviously just going to split push all game. And then they locked Zed in, which I was kind of confused with. I thought for sure they would go something a little more AP, and I was like, okay, well, let's try not to die early and stack armor.
Did the split pushing from Link's Zed cause you more troubles than Shen? You know, you anticipated the Shen, but Link was bottom lane for such a long time in that game.
I think it would have been a lot more problems if Jackie played really well that game, especially when Zed engaged him a couple times, because Jackie should have died. I'm like, oh god, Jackie's okay, never mind, Jackie, you're a beast, you know? And he would just somehow narrowly escape Zed or maybe even kill him. So because Jackie played so good, it alleviated a lot of the pressure from Zed.
And what was going through the team communication at the end of the game when you already had an exposed inhibitor and Baron was up? Who's the one making those shot calls?
Well, we talked about it before the game because we actually came to an epiphany because in last split, somebody would make a call and we're just like, I don't care if we're tower diving the Nexus at level 1. We're going in. You know, we just blindly go into it and do it no matter what. And we lately haven't been doing that lately. But we just all talked about it. If a call's made, we're just going to blindly go into it. And while we're walking up to the middle, we're just like, if he keeps pushing bottom, we're ending the game no matter what. Like, I don't care what happens, we're ending the game. So we saw Zed bottom and Shen top. Like, all right, let's do it, you know?
That's also man-moding it up with that decision. What was the communication like in the Baron engagement, where you discovered CLG had started it, then you jumped in, you scared them away, and they re-engaged? You know, how was the communication and the calling? I
was calling, I think, around 3k health to wait on my Q to come up, because I wanted to make sure I secure Baron, because I'm a god-awful smiter. I mean, guilty as charged. But, yeah, so they engaged in, and then I think a lot of AoE damage caught it, like Pantheon, and some of our AoE damage hit it. So it just went down too low, and we went into smite battle and ended up getting it. But we actually cleaned up pretty okay off of that. We managed to kill some people at Baron and then hold out. And we had to, of course, the top engage after that, where I think they were getting a little cocky because they had Baron. And we sent down Cop, and we thought that he could handle the Shen. And he's like, oh, I got this. Like, oh, God, I don't got this. And he's dying.
He got some revenge a little bit later, though, to be fair. It initially started pretty badly. So you guys are playing another game later today. Of the games that you're playing today, how did you prepare for them differently, if at all?
It was mainly a team thing. I feel like if we're in the zone, we're all together, and we're playing the right way, then we can beat anybody. But I don't really care about the other team. All I care about is us.
So let's actually talk about that Cop on Draven. We've been seeing him playing those more aggressive ADs more simply because you have Edward now. When you're faced with the Shen and the Pantheon, how does that completely change your bottom lane mentality? I
mean, it didn't change it much. Cop flashed into 4 people in the middle. He's like, I'm killing Caitlyn, I don't care. Like, oh God, Cop.
So has he made this change already, and he is now one of the aggressive AD carries in the league, and he's completely just left that MF behind, like we saw him mousing over there?
Sometimes he plays kind of passive, but then when he goes hard, he goes way too hard sometimes. He'll go so hard. You're like, God, no, Cop, no!
So you've created a monster, basically.
Pretty much.
Well, hopefully you can control the monster. Congratulations on your win. And of course, it's time for our second match of the day. Team Dignitas versus Team Coast. Both teams won their respective games yesterday, and while Team Coast rallied behind Nintendo's Jarvan, the frontman from Dignitas, Skara, led his team to a stunning